Sorry. Cornfed recovery. Oh, jeez. Well, why not? It fits. Oh, jeez.
Okay. Well, there you are, Ed. There I am.
I see it.
Yeah. We're on.
We're on the air.
We're live on the air. We're still live after the shenanigans from last night. I'll turn down the music just a little bit. I'll admit it was really fun last night. We'll talk about that here in a bit. But hey, welcome back. This is the Unfiltered podcast. I'm Tyler Anderson. The internet knows me as Tyler Liger. I'm here
and I'm Ed Packineau. Nice to meet you.
Yes. And it is Sunday, November 30th, 2025. This is episode 17. I'm surprised we've gotten this far.
Well, we come kicking and crying to get here. So.
Kicking and screaming sometimes, you know. I mean, I was eating lunch and I was like, man, like I was trying to finish this bowl of chili that like was in the fridge for like the last week. And I was like, it's like 1:15 and I'm like, oh crap, I really need to eat this really fast. But I don't want to eat it too fast, otherwise I'm going to get sick. And then I'm just going to feel miserable all throughout the show. So like luckily by about 1:35, 1:40, get everything wrapped up. I brush my teeth, you know, like a good little boy I am. Although the jury says different, but I was able to get on. I was able to put everything together, and I mean, here we are. Ed's got Ed's got the easy part. He's just got to hop on and just give me company, and along with the chat. No. Yeah,
I've still got to drink coffee to get here. Are you kidding me?
And just a quick thing. Kale could not make it, so we had to bump him back a couple weeks, but that's okay. That's okay. Kale's like, hey, like, can you like buy me a couple more weeks? And I was like, I sure can. So we slid him in for the 14th. So for sure, December 14th, we'll get Kale Steed. So yeah, I'm very happy to get Kale on.
Next weekend we got our good friend Israel coming on.
Yeah, TC. Is it TC Warrior ETP or is it the other way around?
Well, normally I think it's just TC Warrior. On Twitch, he's known as TC Warrior ETP. Yeah,
TC Warrior ETP. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
So we'll get Israel next week, and it'll be great to have him on. And he's on Twitch, so check him out. And then also, I think I want to bring up one more thing too, and that is Press Pass Sports is doing a Cyber Monday special. So for the first 500 new subscribers, you can get a full year subscription for $20 rather than the $35. And I think that's a heck of a deal for all the sports content, like especially the local sports content that we have to kick out, like that we want to work on, we want to kick out. I think it's a great deal. So check out PressPassSports.news. Yeah, PressPass www the www www.presspass.news. So check it out. Yeah.
Come on, get your head together. I know you got to spend time with a beautiful woman last night.
Oh, I know. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to get the announcements out of the way. But we're recovering a little bit from Cornfed with Dalton Pruitt, and my goodness, was this an instant classic? Because not only do we have yours truly, and then Ed pops in like towards the end, like
saves the day
in dramatic fashion. Ed likes to swoop in, he likes to steal the show. So it was because I was like, because I didn't hear anything from you, and I was like, is Ed okay? Like, better yet, is Eddie okay, or is Kyla okay? Or is your mom all right? Like, and then you message me, and then I'm like, okay, all right, here. And then they did it. They do everything through like X. Like they had a big chat, and so that's where they brought people in, and that's where Dalton supplied the link to where we jumped into StreamYard, and off we went. But yeah, like it was a fun show. Dalton was typical Dalton Pruitt, like always, and always entertaining, always got stories to share. And then what really made this stand out was not only the delayed entry of Dave Wright the Thinker, known affectionately as Dave Wrong the Stinker. Our good friend Dave, we had Ellie Stockholm, and she was in the hearts and minds of the of the skanks, or of our circles. She's basically Miss Skankfest to us. So it was great to have her on, have her insights into the business of like being an OnlyFans model. Is that safe for me to say on YouTube? An OF model, an OF model. So
FO.
Yeah, an OF model. And yeah, like I remember like Dave invited us to come on, and it was the same episode as Bringing on Ellie. And, I was like, who is this Ellie Stockholm? So I look her up, and the first thing I see is butt cheeks, just straight up cheeks. And I'm like, boom! Like, and it was, but no, getting to meet her and the talk with her was actually like, it was really fun. It was very enlightening. And to find that she is just a guy in a lady's body that enjoys hunting and fishing and all this really cool stuff. I mean, it was totally Doug's dream girl. Like, so shout out to
definitely
and she looked great.
She's definitely a gay man in a woman's body. That's for damn sure.
Ed said it, not me. But no, I thought the show was fantastic. We had appearance from Sweeze, and Sweeze tweeted something really interesting, which I mean I'm not going to share over here because it is absolutely ridiculous. But
isn't it in Sweeze fashion?
It was typical Sweeze fashion. I mean, we almost have to do a Sweeze watch. We almost have to, just because he is America's Sweezeheart, and that might have to be a segment on the show where Tanner's like, here, I'm going to recap my week, as crazy as it is, and as crazy as it is, and turn it into a segment on the show. I think it would get so many shout outs for Sumo Dog. And, and so many things for Sweeze, because Sweeze has captured the hearts and minds of millions. But I mean, even Dalton knows, like, he's trying, man. He's trying, but
right.
But we love Tanner. Tanner shows us love in mysterious ways. Just don't ask.
I got him blocked everywhere, so
Yeah, so he doesn't message you at like 4 a.m. But now keep in mind, like Dave said, like a few episodes ago, he was like, okay, so he's probably just getting off work, and he works until about midnight, 2 a.m. And his mind is spinning. He's coming down off of that work adrenaline, because I know what it's like to have that work adrenaline. Like, you come home and it's like, oh man, I want to get all this stuff done, or I want to go out and unwind with friends, or, or have a nice drink and, enjoy a movie or whatever, or just go out. And, cause I experienced that, like, well, especially in my younger years when I worked in retail, you got that adrenaline high, and then you're just trying to come down off of it. And you probably got like a few other things in mind, and you're like thinking about stuff during work, and you're like, oh, well, okay, I can't message him now, but I'll message him at 2 a.m. And I once told Sweeze, I was like, you can message me anytime. I don't mind. It's all good. So, but we love you, Sweeze. You've captured the hearts and minds of many of your peers by being on Cornfed and being on Sibling Revelry. We still haven't gotten on Sibling Revelry yet, but I think that's going to be an eventual thing. I think it's going to be eventual where we come back to the Cornfed, and Dalton's a hoot. Dalton's very great. I enjoyed visiting with Dalton. Dalton comes up with almost anything to talk about. And yeah, I would love to talk more Texas with him, even though he was like, oh man, I just don't like Amarillo a whole lot. And I'm like, I get it. But I was the sorry soul that came back, after living in Iowa and living in Rapid City, and then, and traveling quite a bit.
But it's about the people. It's not about the place.
Right. It might be just like, like, oh man, I got to go back and see family, and they live in the middle of nowhere. And, these towns going in like are kind of just sad, and don't get me wrong. Like, I know driving through some of those towns look really sad, but knowing people in those towns, like, it's
30 miles an hour.
Yeah. Going from like 80 to 30 is a whiplash, but I feel like those towns aren't bad. Like, I like Childress, I like Canadian, I like Memphis. I know coaches and players that were from there, and honestly, like, I've nothing but nice things to say about those towns whenever I go through. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going through Memphis right now, or I'm going through Clarendon, or I'm going through Claude. And that's like something that that hits me really good. But I could say the same thing like Dalton was saying about Amarillo, like towards my hometown. Like, yeah, my hometown, like, I feel like I jumped in the DeLorean and went back to like 1995 with how things were.
Mr. Sandman playing in the distance.
Right. And there hasn't been much that's changed about my hometown. However, like, it's still Dayton, Iowa at the end of the day. And it's still, I mean, it's only, luckily there's families that have come back, and they're living there, and they have kids, and they're having families and everything. But it's not like Dayton's really going through a huge metamorphosis or a ton of growth. Mostly because, well, one, it's almost like a bedroom town to a city of 25,000 people. And then if you go the other way, it's, it could be a bedroom town for a city about 45 minutes away. So like it's stuck in a really weird spot. And, although there have been some things, some new things that happen with it. Like, I mean, the latest, I think the latest and greatest was like a Dollar General coming in. But other than that, like, yeah, I mean, it's tough. But there's always stuff that's going on. And, but I mean, I'm so far separated from my hometown that, I don't even count myself as like a Dayton, Iowa native anymore. It's more like Lake City, or it's Amarillo, but I know I completely got into rambling mode, but I mean, I see where Dalton's...
You want me to save you and drag you out of this?
Yeah. So I see where Dalton's coming from on that. So like I concur, but also like I also am like, well, like let me offer this perspective, and it's a little different, but I know where you're coming from, and I thought it was good. I mean, I suppose there was a lot of like not really like sexual humor, but it was very we talked about like, you know, injecting into the phallic areas to kind of keep you going for like a long amount of time, especially if you're filming. That was a very interesting discussion. I mean, you have to check it out. And I think what we'll do is I'll add the link to the stream in the description after we're done, because it was such a fantastic show and we got to going on a lot of really great subjects, and Ellie was just a champ all the way through. And so I think what I ran into towards the end was I didn't only like run into like, I was starting to get tired. You could tell, like I was trying to hide like a yawn, and I was like, man, this is definitely past my bedtime. And but it was good to see. It was good to see Doug. I love seeing Doug. Shout out to Thugless. We love you, man. You are a character. He had a few drinks in him, so he was feeling really good. Like, you know, we had Sweeze, and then we had Rob the Ice Goodwin come in, and he and Dalton know each other, but he came off like sounding like a robot to me. So like towards the end where I'm kind of tuning out, it's because there was so much slowdown with the internet that I kind of tuned out. Like I was trying to like listen to what they said and try to keep up with the conversation. However, like it might have been my internet, but it slowed down enough to where like Rob sounded like a robot. Like he was more so Rob the robot versus Rob the Ice Goodwin. So, I mean, but you know, it is what it is. And then we had an appearance from Gundog, which is basically, I think one of Dalton's super fans, like showing up with a dog plush holding a handgun up to the screen, that was insane. And I didn't mean to like ignore Gundog. I think when Gundog popped on, like I started laughing. Like I put my head down, I started laughing really hard, and it was just great. But it was a great show, so I recommend seeing it. It's 5 hours, so you know, buckle in, or you know, if you want to kill an afternoon, that's the way to go, is to listen to Cornfed podcast with Dalton Pruitt. But yeah, that was it. What do you think, Ed?
Hi.
Did I bring you back in, or did I tune you out?
Well, 20 minutes later.
I know. I know. I went on this long streamer rant, like streamer brain, man.
Good God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. No.
It was great. I thought it was really fun, and then to go back even further, like the second SCP hangover, I had Lee XL on, and man, for the first 37 minutes, I'm just trying to kill time. I'm just like trying to recap the show, and I was hitting Murphy's Law, and then Lee pops on, because Lee like, and this is nothing on Lee. I told him, hey, hop on about 2. And it slipped his mind that it was, instead of 2 p.m. Mountain Time, it would be 2 p.m. Texas time. So he got Texas and New Mexico time kind of mixed up a little bit, but you know, he was in total character. He had the hair towel, he was in the towels most of the time, as he should, because I mean, he is the walking L'Oreal commercial. Uh, he gives me Joel Gertner vibes from old school ECW, and I think that's such a great thing, and that he's very comfortable with who he is, and and for him to like just basically just jump in and really recap the show was really awesome, and then he was even better when Rick came in. Basically as not like the cuddly friendly Rick that we know, from talks movies and comic books. This was
Rick Elsey, the character.
This was Rick Elsey on a mission. This was right. Yeah. This is Rick Elsey, the president of Squared Circle Pro, saying, "Hey, this is why we did what we did, and you want to declare war. Well, you haven't seen war yet, and." I'm interested to see what happens from there on out, but other than that, there's
been a lot of interesting stuff that I've seen transition. Just watching this very short chapters of these wrestling shows. I was at one show, I met Rick moments before he changed and went into character. I saw Rick during the performance. Then I met Rick for dinner a couple of times, and I love sitting down to dinner with him. He is so fun to talk to.
Yeah.
But what is so interesting for people, I think, in my perspective, is that when you're okay, so when you watch a movie Superman and they have the main character Clark Kent, right?
Yeah.
And this guy is Superman. So we know that Clark Kent is synonymous with Superman. Superman's synonymous with Clark Kent. But, then there's Henry Cavill who plays these guys. And so it's like anybody watching a movie, you're sitting there and you go, oh, well, they play a character and this is the character's name. And when you sit down with Henry, you're not sitting down with Clark Kent or Superman. Same principle for me. But here we are sitting down with Rick Elsey, the administrator, Rick Elsey, the president, Rick Elsey, the loving, fun comic collector, Rick Elsey, the South Park lover. It puts me in kind of a cognitive discourse because I'm going, okay, so when he's here or when he's on the show as this guy, he's that. So you can't talk about this stuff over here. But when he comes over here, you don't really want to attempt either to talk about this stuff over there. Mm-hmm. So it really it sucks having to try to separate all that over somebody using the exact their real name mm-hmm. as the person who's playing a role. And for me, that's just, I don't know. It kind of screws with me a little bit. I don't get triggered. I don't, people in their terms, oh, you're triggered. No. For me, it's just like, this is fucking weird. So what do you do about it?
I think, and let me offer a little bit on this. I tend to blur it all together. And because the further you go down into the rabbit hole, the more real it becomes. Right. And it's just another side of that person. Like, I try to be as authentic as I can. Whether I'm, covering a game, or if I'm at Squared Circle Pro, or if I'm on here. Like, that's kind of how I go. And, and I kind of blur that a little bit when I bring in, Miles' journey, when I bring in Draven Reeves, when I bring in Lee. It blurs a little bit, but I understand that, hey, like, I can, what's the best way? I can get them to blur it with me, and to where, yes, like, it offers different parts of their personality. It's not them being the chicken shit heel, or the diabolical bad guy that's always up to no good. Well, there's layers to people.
Are you saying they're like ogres?
Yeah, they're like onions. Yeah. Ogres are like onions, and yeah, but I mean, people are deeper than you think. Even if you feel like this villain is a cardboard character, like he is a cardboard character, I think it's more interesting when you can dive into the depths of these characters, of these people, And sometimes it blurs and it gets to the point. And I know, and the nice thing is now is like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but back in the day, like they used to protect, they used to protect the character with their lives. You had to protect it. You had to keep it real. But I think what you're seeing is a different kind of real now, where you see the real person and they're not exactly a bad guy. And you start to see their motivations behind things. For Draven, he just wants to keep being the best. And if he has to step on people to be the best, well, then so be it. That's a very human factor. And I feel like that adds in more gravity or more gravitas to the person and the character. And it gives it more meaning that, okay, all right, here's the motivation behind this character. Now, the cool thing is I feel like it's also, sometimes you have to stop at a certain point where if you get too deep, then you're like, okay, all right, this is because people are complicated. People are never simple. I've never really met a simple person in my life. Cause I've seen different sides of these people. Like, and they say like in psychology, there's different sides of people. Like there's the public face that you and I are putting on right now on stream. Then there is the side of us that we show to our friends and our family. And it can be good. It can be bad. And then there's the side of us that we only show to ourselves, that we only see by looking into the mirror. So there's all that layer, and I think it's glorious, but also I feel like some people, they can get a little lost in the sauce sometimes. So I can see both sides. I'm not trying to argue for or against, but
no. And you and I have had this conversation before where I sat there and just pointed out, I'm like, well, who did we bring on? A good example is that, okay, you pointed out, and I know Draven Reeves to be a bad guy. He's an arrogant, egotistical, full
he's a jerk.
almost
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
a
like
snake
a
in the
Rick,
grass.
he's a jerk. He's Rick Martel basically on steroids,
Yeah.
whatever. But then you turn around and ask him about a childhood memory, and he talks about his wrestler and his idol and that. So yeah, you certainly blurred the lines right there, because
I did.
I don't think the real Draven, the character Draven, would give two shits about his childhood and what's going on. He'd be like, well, screw you. He's like, what? So what I mean is that's what I'm pointing out, is that when you bring on somebody, or that you're talking to somebody who's playing characters back and forth, we're not playing characters. You and I are on here as ourselves. And if we choose not to talk about our this is just a joke, hypersexuality or hyper this or hyper that, or what our favorite hobby is. Yeah, we're very promiscuous. No, but if you choose not to talk about that, then we're not bringing that to the stream. But when somebody comes out as, I'm just saying on TV too, if they come out at this character, then Henry Cavill, what is he like? He likes Warhammer 40K. That's one thing I know that's on the internet about him. He's a nice guy. He's very sexy man. He dresses really well. He's very well.
He's very well put together.
But there very could be parts of his personality that we don't even know, where he has doubts. That's to say, that's Henry being Henry. But then okay, we also recognize that Henry plays these characters. And again, going back to what I said, is that when you would be sitting there talking to Clark Kent and Superman in a public function, you wouldn't say, well, Henry, can you tell me more about your favorite maneuver in 40K? No, he's there as Superman, not as Henry. So that's why I'm saying, when, like Rick, he's the prime example of this, because he uses the same name in both locations. It's going, well, sometimes people have a tendency to want to go, oh, hey, remember, by the way, last night when we had that dinner, and what'd you think of those he likes those southwestern egg. Oh no, he loves the chips. I know he likes the chips and the dip and stuff like that. I wouldn't bring that up while talking to Rick Elsey, the administrator.
Right.
And it's a person's like going, okay, well, you got to remember not to do that, because we're not talking about you in your real life right now. We're talking about you in this role. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I try to make sure to obey those lines and those kind of ground laid boundaries, so that you don't confuse what's going on there. But again, some people will watch our stream and go, well, you had him on there twice as the real Rick so far, and then you brought on the administrator.
Yeah.
So it's something that people need to think about. And I go this deep and stuff because I'm like, no, I think about it. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm not the only fucking weirdo in the world that would sit there and go, hey, well, you had Rick on 3 times. No, we had Rick on twice, and then we had Rick on once. But that's
technically we had Rick on 3 times. So I mean, you're right. But yeah,
on a technicality, you're right.
Yeah, on a technicality, yeah. So technicality, we had him on 4 times. However, yeah, like so like, and I see what you're saying, because I feel like, I think it's because I get immersed in that world as well, but I'm still kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it's not corruption. It's not anything like that. It's more like I'm able to put up that kind of that shield to where I'm like, okay, I'm immersed, but it doesn't consume me, Mm-hmm. But no, like, if you're saying this, then 10 other people are thinking it. That's how I look at it as, okay. So that's why it's good for us to talk about it. Like, it's like, okay, all right. Like, do we continue blurring the line, or do we, to where it's hazy and you don't know where to go, or do we set clear boundaries? And I think right now we got that happy medium going on, right, to where it's like, okay, well, I can get Draven to talk about, his favorite childhood memory of Terry Funk, but I can also get him being Heck Yeah Radio iPay-per-view champion. Yep. And justifying why he did what he did. So, right. I mean, I think it's great.
I mean, no disrespect on anything, and I'm not calling you out on nothing. I'm just pointing it out because you're right. If I'm thinking it, so are other people.
And I love Draven. I think he's great, and I love Lee, and I love Miles. So like, I love these guys. Whenever I go to Squirt Circle Pro, it really feels like it's not even like a locker room. It's just like you're stepping in and you're seeing your old friends again. You're seeing your friends that you see every other month, and then you catch up with them and you see how they are doing and all that stuff. And then I see Ryan a little more often, just because like I pop onto his podcast, The Extra Point with Ryan Justice, by the way. Really good show. And Ed kind of tunes out immediately because it's NFL football, but and I feel like I'm kind of, but it's the NFL. It's a podcast about the NFL, and Ryan's got all this really great information in front of him, and I'm just winging it. I'm just like, well, okay, all right, But it's great. Like, I feel like I compliment him well, and I need to let him be the star of the show. And I feel like last night when we were on Cornfed, Ellie was the star of the show. I feel like she was the belle of the ball, and rightfully so, because she's a very interesting person. And I feel like, I was there more to be complimentary, which, like Dave said not too long ago, hey, like, it's okay to know your role and to kind of take a back seat. And then when you're brought back in, then that's your turn. It's like a play or a musical. Everybody has their part. And, I mean, and Dalton rightfully so, because his name is on the show. And then, but I feel like Ellie was the superstar, and Dalton was like the host he was the glue that brought everybody in, which was really fun. So,
do you want another perspective?
Sure.
So think about the tweet they put out, mm-hmm. and they said, tonight we're having a show with Ed and Tyler from Unfiltered, blah, blah, blah. So we were actually the announced stars of this show. Mm-hmm. And then sometime during that podcast, Ellie pops on. Do you think it's more fair to say that maybe she became the star given her?
Well, technically, she was announced around the same time we were. So
Were we told that though? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we were. Yeah,
You say about knowing your role, and I'm like, well, I didn't see anything about Ellie till last night. She was sitting there with her tossing her hair, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that was the first I heard of
She
it.
was announced around the same time we were, which was I think fine. So I think it was fine.
No, I'm not discouraging. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying
Right.
that you and I were on the same level as her brought on. We just don't have that flair to be able to put out there and be known for that. There is something about a person. You get 4 males or 3 males, 2 males. You get a bunch of males around a very attractive female, and all of a sudden everybody goes gaga.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
Doug.
when you got to learn. Yeah, yeah.
Definitely
But
Doug.
that's why you got to be able. It was like me meeting what was her name, Denise Crosby at the fair. I
Yeah.
don't know if I heard the story. I met her, got some things signed for my wife because my wife absolutely loves her.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm doing that, this super obsessed fan comes up, and she's like hyperventilating, and she's really nervous. She's like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!" And at some point during this interaction, Denise Crosby kissed this fan on the cheek,
Mm-hmm.
and you would have thought this girl just had sex with Vin Diesel. It's like, chill out. And I leaned over to her. I said, she's a human just like you. It's okay. Relax. And I don't know if she heard me. I hope she thought about it later.
Yeah.
But I'm staying there with Denise Crosby, and I know that she's super sexy in the Playboy when she did that. I know she's got a very amazing career. I know that she's a nice woman. But I'm not going to go out of my way to sit there and go, oh my God, I saw Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or I saw Kelly, or I saw. So
yeah,
people, they overreact to things sometimes, and that's the point I'm making back to Ellie, is that you guys are around this pretty decent looking, outgoing, bubbly female, but at the same time, I don't think anybody, on purpose or not, what is it? Is the word curtailed to them, or I'm trying to say,
yeah, like you can't be
put themselves second to none.
Yeah, like you can't be too starstruck, because at the end of the day, everybody puts on their pants the same way. I've never seen anybody literally jump into their own pants. So
she did, I think, in a video.
Did she? Like, really? Okay, all right. Well,
have you seen her Twitter? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So let me read the chat from Rick real quick. With wrestling openly exposed as it is today, it's very difficult to walk the line between fantasy and reality. If I'm being honest, even as a promoter / booker / character, I'd rather talk the reality of it. And that I really respect that perspective, because and I know I kind of rhymed a little bit, but the cool thing is it's just the nature of the beast these days. Now, like if we were like 30 years ago, then we would be like, okay, all right, we really need to set boundaries. Like, what are some things that we could talk about? What are some things that we can't talk about? And then let me add on to that. And as much as it consumes me, I'd honestly rather stay clear of it unless I'm specifically asked to talk about it as an appearance, unless, of course, it's a wrestling focused show. So there's been times where we've gotten the wrestling side of Rick, and we've also gotten the comic book, the big comic book fan, the big South Park fan, and but yeah, like I think it's the nature of the beast these days.
Yeah.
But I'll jump back to Ellie real quick. Yeah, she was announced at the same time as we were, and just because the audience is so heavily male, and our group was so heavily male with Dalton, myself, you, Dave, Doug. Even if you go into you get into the weeds with Sweeze, Gundog, Rob the Ice Goodwin, and all these other zany characters that like to pop onto Cornfed. And believe it or not, man, I love Dalton for that, to where it's just a hang. I mean, of course, the lady is going to steal the show. And I say rightfully so, because Ellie's, you know, it's kind of funny, because you come for the raunchy content, and you find out that she's actually like got a really great personality and easy to talk with, and she can answer questions very honestly. So like, I'm just like, heck yeah, like bring her on anytime. Like, just, look at her as, is a member of the club. And
I guess what I'm pointing out is that when that happens, just like I'm pointing out the super fan to Denise Crosby, do you let yourself sit there and be starstruck and enamored, or do you find your worth and come up to the level of saying, no, I'm just as important to be here. So, do I have to bow down to that? Even, it makes sense. And it's not, I'm using these real layman words, but at the same time, the intent is that, well, you're a human, I'm a human, let's just be humans together. You're no more special than I am. Just because I don't jump on Twitter and take pictures of myself doing things doesn't mean that I'm any less valuable than you are.
Yeah, I think it's really, do you find worth in yourself? And I believe Ellie's found that sweet spot. And I mean, I feel like I've found that sweet spot. It's taken me a long time to
17 episodes plus. No.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, maybe I should look into an OF and talk about that perspective, but I wouldn't make a cent.
You go play with your socks.
Yeah, I'll play with my socks. It's like, here, I will appeal to the foot fetishists with like putting on my socks and taking off my socks and putting them back on again. And then, and do maybe a little tease with my feet. I don't know. I don't think my feet look terrible by any means, but I digress.
I don't think that's what I meant by saying playing with your socks.
See, like, okay, all right. So when everybody was talking about stuff, I was like, man, do I feel like the choir boy in this conversation?
You just proved it.
Yeah, and I did, and and when in their topics of discussion, like look at my face, like I'm like, whoa, like I'm like, it's like, whoa, like we're talking about this live on YouTube, like we're not gonna get struck down, are we?
You see how red you are right now? That's your natural color, basically. Yeah. I've never seen you, like this color. But
rosy cheeks,
you turned 3 shades darker last night when she was talking.
Well, I think it came down to the topics of discussion she was talking about.
When she talked about the one partner talking about using some sort of split tongue to grab her Unfiltered, right? Her CLIT. Then you went, shoom, you lost it, man.
Yeah. I think it's because I was raised, I was just raised different, more conservative background, and I don't mind when people talk about that. It's just my facial expression kind of turns into shock, and then I blush a little bit, but I don't judge anybody. I was like, well, that's, you shouldn't be talking about that, and wag my finger. And it's like, no, because you need those different perspectives to be like, okay, all right, where are they coming from on this?
I've done that standing up,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, she was like, hey, could you taco, make your tongue into a taco? And on the show, I did just that, along with along with Dave, and I think maybe Doug. Maybe Doug.
Yeah, we all did it. Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that's fine. It's I'm really happy with those type of conversations, because it opens up your mind and being like, well, it's not just your way or the highway. Right. These people have these. I mean, these are very interesting people. Like if I could, I'm sure if we could, we could, and I know we could, is get Ellie on here and then talk about that stuff. Even though I would turn,
I'd have to be off camera the whole time.
yeah. Kyla would not have. Kyla couldn't be either home, or she'd have to be directly supervising you. But yeah, like
she's at work right now.
Yeah, so like, but I'm open to that. I feel like those are great conversations to be had, and that's the reason why we put this together, is to have these interesting conversations with very interesting people, no matter what background they are. I mean, unfortunately, I can't just drag Bill the hobo off the street and bring him in onto the show. But like,
you should try that.
Well, I don't know.
You offer them a sandwich and $5. I guarantee you they'll do whatever you want them to do.
Well,
and steal everything on the way out.
Right. But like, even to like eventually bring back PWR when things kind of calm down on his side, would be like, okay, all right. What did you learn from that? Alex, what did you learn? Like, maybe you shouldn't put that on stream. Like, there's that. There's also talking to not only just Rick, it could be talking to other, professional wrestlers. It could be talking with somebody who's currently retired, like Rex Reed. And I'd love to bring Rex on the show, because Rex is retired. But I think his perspective is still very good. And just kind of the notable difference between, say, the locker rooms he's used to versus the locker rooms that we have now. And I will say this about Squared Circle Pro's locker room: it's very professional. It feels like you're seeing your friends every other month, and it's comfortable. Nobody feels like out of place. It's very welcoming, and I tell you what, like, between Rick and the rest of Squared Circle Pro's ownership, they've done a mighty fine job of building up the next generation to where people want to go see these new faces really take precedence in the show, along with seeing OGs like JC Bravo, or seeing Lilith Blood, or a chance to jeer at El Gringo Loco. And I love El Gringo Loco. Both when he has the mask on, and when I talk to him about just funny things that we've encountered in life. So like, I feel like the locker room is in a really great shape right now. And I know I keep drifting back over to wrestling, but the podcast was great. Like, I loved being on Cornfed. I would totally go back. And then if Dave or Dalton or Sweeze sees this, please clip it. We would love to come back, because I had such a blast being on that show. And I know Ed, you weren't there as long as I was, but I'm sure
I found out real quick.
Yeah, you found out really quick that it's really just a cool hang, and it's zany, it's fun. You never know who's gonna hop on, and and Dalton is like the glue that holds it all together, along with Dave. And Dave is such a mover and shaker behind the scenes. Like, I love Dave. Like, Dave's amazing, and Dave kept the ship going, nice and smooth, and then Dalton really was like the guy that could talk about everything and anything.
I guess normally I'd be like, no, okay, report.
Yeah.
So, woo, yeah, one of those deals.
Right. But I mean,
but I also let her know that we said, well, you as well. Thank you so much for meeting her. So
yeah, and I respect the hustle.
She gets a pass just because this is her one pass.
Yeah, it's fine. So I think we said all we could really say about last night. I mean, we could always say more, but we don't want to tire people out.
I could.
Yeah, you definitely could. But locales. So I had something really cool. Yeah, so I had something really cool happen. Earlier this week, CJ Holiday, which he is like one of my favorite YouTubers. Like he's a smaller YouTuber, but he is a locale commentator. But you know, I tell you, there's so much more to CJ. He loves UFC. He is definitely a more well-rounded person. And he reached out to me. He actually tweeted at me because he couldn't tweet directly. I'm having problems with my chat at the moment, but we do got to plan something soon. If you're down for a pod. And I told CJ, I was like, CJ, I'm always down for a pod. And I know my friend Craig will, kick my butt for it by saying pod and not podcast. You just say when and we'll make it happen. And so CJ does more, like, as of late, he's done a lot of commentary on Cyrax. And we've talked about Cyrax on this channel. How much I dislike Cyrax and how I think Cyrax is stupid and, he's got the mental capacity of, a burlap sack full of dead mice. But like, so he does commentary on that. And then we got into that rabbit hole of, what is exactly a lolcow? And before the show started, we were like, okay, all right, well, let's find the definition of a lolcow and then go from there. So like, I would say the most prominent and actually just to be, and just to look up the definition, because, for those at home or for those listening, a lolcow is a derogatory internet slang term for a person whose eccentric, foolish, or cringeworthy behavior is exploited by online communities for amusement and mockery, often without the individual's full awareness that they are being ridiculed rather than admired. The term implies that they can be milked for laughs endlessly. And like I would say, like there's some original lolcows out there, but the most well known is Chris Chan. And like Chris gains notoriety by posting up like a flyer looking for a boy, like I think it's like a boyfriendless girl to be his friend. And it was kind of like subtly racist. Like she had to be white, she had to have a certain, hair color, and she had to be like a good moral standing or whatever. And we find out that, Chris is putting together comics, and not very well put together comics, that blend Sonic the Hedgehog with the world of Pokemon. And it's called Sonichu. And he self-inserts himself. He commits every single cardinal sin in the book about how to put together a story. And he has these long blocks of wacky dialogue and convoluted plots, and it got to the point where he started really getting trolls that really went after him, and I feel like the trolls really ruined him, because now like he mangled his parts and now is trying to pass off as a lady, even though the trans community doesn't accept him because he's in it to get girls when they're not all about that. So, and then he like, he got cleared of this, but there was, like he admitted that he slept with his own mother, or, her own mother, and went to jail and went to like psychiatric treatments and everything. And now Chris Chan is like basically almost off the internet. Like any reports of Chris Chan is almost like reporting like Sasquatch or the Loch Ness Monster. It's like almost like cryptid status. Where like Cyrax will go through a cycle where Cyrax is like, okay, he comes on the internet and he's so smug and he acts all tough and cool. He wants to be Billy Badass. And then his trolls, most likely William Glory Hole or Goblin Records or Southern Harlot or John. And John's kind of the latest name in the game. They antagonize Cyrax. So Cyrax makes videos that are just, trying to be like, tough guy Cyrax, where he's making fun of people or not making fun of people. He doesn't have the mental capacity to make fun of people. to where he starts screaming and shouting and he gets mad. And then he gets like into the rage goblin because he looks like a goblin and he goes into full out rage mode. He goes into racks out. Like he loses his cool. He crashes out. He points the finger at Akron PD. He gets mad. He calls cops. He says, "Oh, I'm going to get the FBI on you," just ridiculous stuff. And then the end of the cycle is he sits there in the dark and he's shaking his head. Why did the trolls make fun of me? I guess I'm going to be gone forever. And then he comes back like not even a day later, and the cycle begins again. And it's really sad. But once you find out how bad of a person Cyrax is, because here's the similarity between all these locales, and it even extends to like Wings of Redemption. It really even extends to somebody like PWR, which, I mean, like I said before, I think he's a good guy. I think he's just lost. To even Darkside Phil, like they overshare their lives, like they put it all out there, and they overshare. Where Ed, you and I know when to just say, okay, all right, we need to step away from the internet. Like we let's not overshare. Let's not give reasons. Sometimes the best medicine is silence. And a lot of people understand that, and we don't, not a lot of people like really crash out, but now with cameras everywhere, it's so easy to see crash outs. But I do feel like these people, they all have something in common. One, they're just, they don't care who they step on as long as they end up on top. And two, they tend to overshare, and they say, well, or they lie, and they try to because Darkside Phil tends to be a habitual liar. Cyrax is a habitual liar. A lot of these people are just they either lie and then they overshare. Like Phil used to overshare everything, and then Phil kind of closed off the internet and stopped being honest with people. I don't think he was ever really honest, but then you reach that point where you stop being honest and you try to paint the world from your truth or your perspective, and people see right through it, and they're like, okay, all right. Okay, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. What you're doing is stupid, and it's wrong. And then for Cyrax, he got outed as having an attraction towards teenage kids, which that's a big no-no, because anybody
that's just legally wrong.
Yeah, it's illegally wrong. But Cyrax doesn't have the mental capacity for that, because he still thinks that, well, I'm still like a kid, but
so he blurs the lines for himself.
He does, and it doesn't do him any favors. And remember, he goes from being really egotistical to going into rage mode, and then going into why are people always picking on me, and he goes on the offensive, and then he's like that he starts crying and becomes a crybaby, and then he repeats the same cycle over and over again.
That just goes to show his lack of understanding, comprehension, deep thinking, consideration for consequences or repercussions, his lack of empathy. So basically,
it's all the above.
He wasn't raised right, apparently. So I'm going to put part of that on his parents.
Yeah.
And the other part is him. He didn't sit there and go outside and look and go, well, gee, if I put my hand in a hot pot, I'm going to get burned. Mm-hmm. So he continues to do dumb stuff, and then he wants to turn around and bitch about it when people are treating him going, no, you're not supposed to do that, or you're a horrible person, or you're doing this crap. We're going to arrest you because you're trying to get into a teenager's pants. Yeah, people these days, it's just amazing. I think about my son, and he's young, but he's 19, and it was so funny. We were watching The Exorcist last night, and from 1973, great film.
Great film.
But I know that they didn't exactly do a great job filming the movie of going, okay, she's starting to become the devil and she's starting to get possessed, the little girl. And so this is gradually happening. There's like one scene and it happens, and then they've got her and the doctor, and she's like, well, what's wrong with me? Oh, she advised me to keep my fingers away from her C word. The doctor's saying this. He's like, does she cuss? And the mom's like, well, no, not at all. And then next thing you know, the girl comes out during the party in the movie and she just pees on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're seeing this. We know what's already happening, but my son is kind of like not registering exactly where this is going or what's happening. And he's like, well, what? And I said, well, this is happening because of that. Not only do I know the story and the ending, but I could also get the context clues out of it. So as much as I've explained to my son about cause and effect and things like that, it's still very interesting to see how either he's dismissing certain facts or context clues and not even registering. Maybe he would get if he saw the movie a couple more times, but
Yeah.
while he was sitting there with me, he wasn't catching it, and I'm like, why are you not catching that? And so same thing. You go back to Cyrex. He's doing all this dumb shit. He was like, dude, you mess with the bull, you're going to get the horn. And he's like, well, why does everybody not like me? Well, because you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Do you not understand this? So something in his understanding, something in his development, something in the way he perceives the world, he doesn't see that at all. And that's why we end up with people who are serial killers and things like that, because they blur that line of going right and wrong.
Right.
And they just do whatever they feel they're going to do. And then they're sitting there going, well, I got caught. Why am I going to prison? Well, because you decided to blow away a bunch of kids into school, and that's called murder, you dumbass.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
So let me read Rick's chat real quick. So it's all about the clicks, views, grifting, all equaling money. Hopefully, now Rick's got a point, and for Cyrax it is not the case. For Cyrax is definitely
he's
not
a
the case.
Dumbass.
And here's the thing with Cyrax too is he was born with deformities. Like he has sloping shoulders. Like he's got like half a lung. Like he's got 1.5 lungs, and he was basically his mom, from if I understand correctly, drank and smoked while he was in the womb. And then his dad ended up in prison. His real dad ended up in prison, so he was taken in by his grandma. And a lot of where people go wrong is like they're not raised by, or they were either not raised right by their parents, or they were raised by, like, say, a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle or a guardian. And there's that disconnect between generations. And Cyrax is just chronically online. And Cyrax just doesn't process that, you're going to have critics, and it's really how you respond to the critics, or better yet, how you not respond to the critics is how you're going to get better. But the problem is Cyrax sucks at everything. The guy can't produce music, even though he wants to be a musician. The guy can't do any sort of advice because he doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, he didn't graduate. He got basically kicked out of high school, at the age of 21. High school was we can't have you anymore.
He aged out. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it's, yeah. So I just feel like anything that gets put online is done with the intent to give the intention and eventually with some type of monetary benefit. I'm probably jaded. Actually, I mean, that's a good perspective to have.
That's almost right on point.
It's actually right on target. So a lot of people want to get the clicks, and they want to get the views, and they want to get the notoriety, and they want to get the money that comes with it. I know I know Ed and I have had these conversations where let's for now, while it's hey, let's just have fun with this show. And then once it starts making money, then we can look at it as a business and start, protecting it or doing whatever. But I think a lot of people, what they do on the internet is, either to gain attention Either it could be like a subtle way of doing it, or it could be like, oh, hey, like this is really great. I think I can make money from this. And that's what blends into like your Chris Chans and your DSPs and your Wings of Redemption is they feel like, hey, if I have this crash out, or, if I, but in kind of a way, they're kind of a detriment to where, I think they also get lost in the sauce. And another really great example actually of what Rick's saying is Mizkif. Mizkif was this big Twitch streamer, and he basically piggybacked off of content creators like Ice Poseidon and then OTK, like with like Schlatt and all these other really big creators, and he basically springboarded into popularity. And he dated some, he dated some girls that had some major followings. And he always brought on guests. Like he would piggyback off that. And it became so bad to where like he was looking at the numbers, and to point where if the girlfriend was outdrawing him, like was drawing more viewers or drawing in more revenue, he'd get mad. He'd get mad at her over like, oh, well, you brought in 26,000, viewers, where I only brought in 19. Like, bitch, please, like 19. I mean, we would kill for 19,000 viewers live on stream, but but I'm happy.
We'd kill for 10.
We would kill for we kill for 10 concurrent. We kill for just one person. Which is Rick. So
we got one. So hold on, 2. We'd kill for 2.
Yeah, let's go for 2. But
don't discount Rick. We love Rick.
We love Rick. But yes, like when it starts becoming more about numbers rather than looking at your viewers as people, that's where you get lost. And you want to listen to your fans. You want to listen to your supporters, because one, they can be your greatest critics, and using their critique, no matter how hard it is to absorb sometimes, you can build off that and make your product better. Or you could be like, well, they're all trolls. They're all out to get me, like a Cyrax, or, like Darkside Phil with his detractors. Where the point where Phil has so many anti-fans that love to hate him, that he's built up an ecosystem of detractors, of the detractor community, watching his every step like a hawk, like a deranged super fan, but they just want to see you fail instead of seeing you succeed. And that's why, like, I kind of have a bone to pick with like those sort of detractors, because now you're making like a spectacle out of it. You want to see this person fail, but the best thing to do is, first of all, stop watching him, stop paying attention to him, stop giving him this attention. But it's a machine that feeds the beast, and it really, I feel it does more harm than good, rather than just let this person go to obscurity and let them, run out. They're not really trying to get rid of Phil. And I don't think that if Phil went away tomorrow, they would go away. They would just find somebody else. Like they would try to find like a Cyrax, or they would go to Wings of Redemption. They'd go to Boogie 2988, or they would go to other lolcows and commentate on them, or, and watch them like a hawk, or antagonize them, or whatever. I mean, I don't know. That's where I'm like, yeah, like it's okay to commentate, but this is what I like about CJ too. And CJ is like, hey, I do not encourage you to go bully or harass Cyrax or anybody. We can talk about it. We can point out the flaws in their arguments or whatever. But I do not condone you going out and trying to harass him by going to his going to his house and, and harassing his grandma and harassing her significant other in attempt to get to him. And believe it or not, that's happened before. So I don't know. I mean, I just think the internet is vicious. But the internet is like playing with fire. Like, if you play with it the wrong way, you're going to get burnt. But if you know how to use it, and you just, I'm not saying like, don't take it seriously. Cause I mean, Ed, you and I, we treat the podcast like it's almost serious business. With the way we try to promote things and everything, but we also realize that at the end of the day, it's fun. Like we like to do this. But yeah, when you start getting lost in the sauce and you start getting, you start worrying about numbers rather than just being like, hey, let's take care of the people that are, that have been cheering us on since day one. Then that's where it all ends. I mean, that's where you're doing more harm than good. Because at the end of the day, it should be fun. I mean,
well, if I could touch on something from my own personal experience this past week, it's been kind of goofy. First of all, I don't like feeding into drama because it's way too easy to get caught up and take sides, and stupid things happen. People get hurt. I stay away from it, even in real life. And but what was really stupid this past week is I play in a quote unquote organization in Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, I wanted to bring their admiral on to the show and interview him because at the moment in time that I did that, I had a lot of respect for what I was hearing and seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, things have started to decline in the way they behave. And lo and behold, we get this new member into our group. And she, after doing some research, she's a VTuber and she's basically mute online. No, she is mute online.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a VTuber and she's mute, and she's not talking because of privacy, but not talking because of certain physical reasons, and that's fine. And again, not showing her face, her business, whatever. Well, now we've discussed and talked, and she's let me know exactly why, and I'm not going to share that here. But the point is that she's not doing what most people do. And when you join this organization, apparently there's somewhere in the rules when you join into the Discord server that you must have a microphone, because on the rule list after that's posted for everybody to see, that's not mentioned anywhere. Compound this situation with the fact that we quote unquote have JAG officers in our chain of command. It's kind of like a milsim structure.
Sure.
And so these JAG officers are directly responsible for protecting and giving her representation during a quote unquote court martial. If you're going to do this whole milsim thing, why not do it correctly? That's my opinion. And again, there are 2 JAG officers, so why are they even there if we're not going to use them? Anyway, you're going to love this. So this past week, a couple of the upper command and some players were just playing together, and after talking to the vice admiral of the group, he said, no, we were just doing some tomfoolery. This was not an official operation, by the organization. I said, okay. I said, was she given representation? Was she given a chance to speak to a JAG officer? Was she court-martialed? Blah, 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 blah. And he goes, huh? LOL. And I'm like, did I stutter? I'm going, are you this stupid?
Mm-hmm.
What ended up happening is that the girl was forced into a call moments after I didn't even get the problem. So in the game, she was incapacitated. She was knocked out. You could come back and rescue her. She was left behind. Because she types, nobody was paying attention and caught it, which is fine. Accidents happen. But she got pissed off and she, quit. Fine, whatever. I guess everybody would call it rage quit. But because she was aggravated and angry and just frustrated venting, somehow the upper echelon of the group got wind of this and said, "Oh, bring her before the panel." Uh, and so, based on everything I'm saying, you can imagine how that went. They're trying to force her to talk on the microphone. They're trying to make her do things, and she's like, "Fuck you! I don't have to do anything. And I don't have to do this for you." So basically, they took her replies as disrespect, snappiness, ignorance, and they said, "Well, we're going to have a vote," and they voted to remove her from the Discord server, and I lost a friend.
Okay.
Well, after I come to find out about this, then I started asking those questions, the JAG officers, the this, the that, because that's what should have happened. And then I got the icing on the cake that it wasn't an official operation. I said, what the fuck business is it of these people over here then if this was just you guys playing and screwing around? So it should have never happened. That's the horrible part of the whole situation. Now there's a movement going on within the group that we're following her and to a different group where we can all discuss and talk about it and try to figure out what our next steps are. But people are noticing that she disappeared. And then to make things worse, after my questioning with the vice admiral, the admiral, Glare himself, decides to message me and says, well, what's with this? And you asking questions and talking to him, blah, 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 blah. And then he's sitting there saying, here's what happened. If you're serious about, I said, this sets a dangerous precedent. You can't just sit there and go play with people and then all of a sudden end up in front of leadership and get your ass handed to you because you got pissed off playing a game when it was not their business to begin with in the first place.
Sure.
And so he's going on and on and on about all this shit. And I'm not going to read the documents, but the last thing he did say, I will read this because this is a quote. He said, all right, he's talking to me. He said, all right, let me know if you need anything, including additional information in voice or additional screenshots. We typically let these things go away quietly and respectfully, but we have the material to blast her if she continues to lie about what happened. Much respect for you speaking up about a perceived injustice. Please just, we don't do injustice here. Salute to my character. And I know for a fact he was lying to my face because the person I got all my information from was there, and he had nothing to hide. So they're sitting there coming from the perspective that they're punishing her, but I'm going, you guys mishandled this and caused all this drama within your group. Well, here we are, and that's why I'm bringing this full circle to what you were saying, is that this misuse of internet power, positioning, just within this little corner of the internet is a great amplified example about how people every day go to use the internet, and you've got a choice. Either try to do the best you can and do right by people, or be some sort of arrogant prick and really screw up when it comes to handling a situation that was none of your business to begin with. So what does that remind you of? Drama, sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, and gossip. Everything the internet is known for with its negativity. So there you go. Yeah. I'm done.
Well, and I hate to say it, but like the internet as a whole is a negative, like,
absolutely. No, I was just giving one little corner example to show you everything else over here, because it's the same.
Yeah, and that's what gets me about like the detractor, the detractor scene within, the whole Dark Side Phil rabbit hole. It also bleeds into like, there's negativity within the VTuber community about, what was it? International Men's Day. And a couple VTubers were like, yeah, to all the men out there, thank you or whatever. And they get grilled over it because, I guess the perception is the majority of their audience is men, and they use men to basically make financial gains. Now, I don't know. I don't get involved with that. I kind of shoved that off to the side.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Shout out to all the mothers out there.
But they use that as a way to make money on Mother's Day, do they not?
Yeah. And I think Rick kind of opens up, like, Rick brought it up, and it's just the tip of the iceberg, is that I think I think even if it's intentional, you're still wanting to get, like I said last night, it's the business of attention. You want to get attention. Like you want people to tune in and be like, okay, all right, what's next in the life of, of Tyler Anderson and Ed Packineau? What's next in the life of Rick Elsey? Tune in to the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. But
Jeez, that's funny.
But like, I mean, it is correct, like completely correct. Like, in this day and age, like, yeah, it's the information age, but we're also in the attention age too. We're all seeking out attention. Now, there are people that don't seek the drama, but there's some people that use the drama, like Phil, like Cyrax, like, I mean, I'm sure at the end of the day, what's that?
Like glare.
Yeah. That want attention. But the problem is it good attention or is it bad attention?
Right. And
most of the time, it's not good attention. Now, I do feel like, like with Cornfed last night, like that was like a bunch of good attention. It was good vibes. Like nobody nipped at each other. It wasn't a combative panel or anything like that. And then you get like, panels where, you get Cyrax, like, racks now on William Gloryhole or on Southern Harlot or John, or before that Music Biz Marty. And people feed into that because, well, for one, Cyrax is a horrible human being. He's just getting his comeuppance. And people love it when they see the bad guy get their comeuppance. But I don't know, like it's instead of letting these people die out due to obscurity, like I think Phil will be streaming and playing video games badly until the day he's dead. I honestly believe that's going to happen. It'll be 2060, and Ed, you and I will be in our 80s and 90s, and we'll still be like, okay, why is Phil being Phil? He's been like this for the last 70 years.
You're not helping the situation. My wife tells me, she goes, oh, we're going to be married for the next 50 years. That was just the other day. I don't want to be alive in 50 years.
Yeah. But, it's, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And then, but also on the other hand, nothing lasts forever either. So, yeah, I don't know.
Unless you're microplastic.
Then you last forever.
In
the words of George Carlin, maybe we were brought to life on this planet to bring about plastic. We were
started with plastic surgery.
Nothing left but plastic.
So what excites you? What gets you jumpy? I literally mean jumpy. What gets you going, oh my God, it's animated. What gets you there? Because yeah.
Okay. As far as something that excites me, man, I really have to think long and hard. Maybe like when they announce a new Godzilla film.
How's that reaction? Show me. What does that look like?
Oh gosh,
Tyler, there's gonna be a new Godzilla movie next week. What do you think? Go.
I would be like, it's great. Like we're living in a golden age of Godzilla. We're
just like this.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I got to light a fire under your ass. That was pathetic. Come on.
I mean, I like. Here's what, like. I just become so unexcited about things anymore. When I was a little kid, man, I used to be excited about Christmas. I used to be excited about my birthday. I used to be excited about growing up, and then I'm like, man, I'm 38 years old. It's days after Thanksgiving. Okay, Christmas is a few weeks away. And, I'm just like, Christmas is like a few weeks away. Like I got to drive up to the folks' place and I look forward to, the family setting and the Christmas meal. And it's to the point where I don't, when I was a little kid, man, I was so excited about getting gifts and getting presents. I was like, oh man, Christmas is the best time of the year. And now I'm like, just another day, man. Like, it's just, but I'm happy to see like other people be happy when I get them stuff. And it's like thoughtful stuff. Like, I swear I become like my great grandmother, where I'm like, okay, this might not be expensive, but I put thought into this, and here you go. And some people are like, oh, this is awesome, thank you so much, or okay, thanks. But man, I used to be excited about so many things, and then I think I excited myself out of things. Yeah, I mean, I guess going back to like a new Godzilla film, I'm like, yeah, that's really awesome. We're living in a golden age of Godzilla, where we're seeing Godzilla content, and we're, because when I was growing up, man, there used to be no Godzilla stuff. You'd have to go to the video store and go find like the common video cassette tapes, like of Godzilla's Revenge, which was bad. Godzilla versus Megalon, which isn't that great. But then you were tickled to death about seeing, Destroy All Monsters, or you were tickled to death about seeing like like the latest, oh man, the Heisei era films when they first came out because of the 1998 Godzilla. But yeah, just like I don't know, I just don't get excited too much anymore.
Man,
I don't like openly cheer unless like, I don't know, maybe it'll be different like once I have kids, but I don't know. But I know so many people, like they're like, you're so laid back, and mom's like, I see you fly off the handle. Like, what's wrong?
But is that only in anger?
I think it's just because I'll get irritated about something. But
so you get anime when you get angry, but as far as all the other emotions, you're just like chill.
Yeah, for the most part.
Wow.
I'm either chill or I'm like, it's all good. Unless somebody gets me really mad, and then I'm like, all right, whatever, get out of here, But I've learned to like, okay, anger does me more harm than good. And I've learned to just take a breath and then take a step back. And
I don't know how some people we know would feel about this, but maybe I need to buy you a pair of nipple clamps. We could start there, see if that makes you do.
Nipple clamps.
That's what I do. See, you're just like, what?
That's not like the nipple coverings that Ellie was talking about last night, was it?
No, these are things that actually pinch your nipples. For sensitivity, for that kind of stuff.
I don't know.
No excitement there. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't want my nipples.
Not even
that's for sure.
Fuck.
I guess like maybe like a fuck no would probably be the answer. It's like, please don't clamp my nipples. That would hurt.
Get one of those compression massagers. There you go. Do something. My foot.
But I've made that. But I've made that self-assessment a long time ago. Like, I'd be at a state championship game for football or whatever, and I'm like, I'm not excited about this. This is just another day at the job. It's just a different setting.
Right.
And I don't know. Like, I haven't been excited in a while. Like, in a long time, actually. Like, but I was excited about things. Like, and if I'm excited, it's a quiet excitement. It's almost tranquil. Like, where I'm like, hey, I'm excited for this show.
Right.
And like, I was excited for Cornfed, but I wasn't like, jumping up and down and spinning around, being on the floor and running in circles on the floor like Homer Simpson. In fact, it's the very opposite. I was like, I'm looking forward to it, but
right.
You don't want to be too starstruck, I guess.
And I suggest you don't bring Ellie onto our stream ever.
Oh, why is that?
You won't stop fucking smiling.
Hey, I was like that when Dave was on, man.
There he is.
I loved having Dave on. I loved having Dave on because Dave was like had so many cool topics to talk about. And it's the same thing with Kale, you know, and it'll be the same thing when, you know, we get CJ on. I'm gonna be grinning from ear to ear. And I feel that same way with I would feel that same way with Israel. I'd be like, heck yeah, like we're getting really cool people on our show to share different perspectives on things. And right. It's so great, you know? So, but anywho, speaking of Israel, he did, a good afternoon, and I think he's going to go live here in a bit from what he was saying. It will be live hanging out on stream. Hope to see you all there. Yeah. So.
Yeah, he'll be on playing Red Sec and Marvel Rivals. Those are two of the ones he does the most right now.
Sure.
He said he bought a Star Citizen package years ago or whatever for when he pledged it. I'm like, well, update it. I'll teach you how to play. He said, will you teach me how to play? I said, absolutely. Nothing. I'm like, dude, you going to update your game? You know, just all you got to do is just sit there and say update and walk away. No, he just every day he's just no. I'm like, then don't ask.
Well,
pretty simple.
I mean, I think it comes down to like what we talked about before is we talked about numbers, right? You know, it's like, hey, maybe my numbers are really good on my Marvel Rivals stream. So let's just keep riding that horse until, you know, I experience a little bit of a drop, and then like, let's try something else.
I volunteered to play with him off the stream. So the point is that, you know, it doesn't take much of an effort to sit there and go, well, I'll just install the game and then be ready for when Ed comes around.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting that. This is just kind of like, you know, he said it and then he forgot it. It was just, well, you know.
Sure.
And I'm disappointed because I actually want to play with him and teach him. So
sure.
It's goofy.
Well, you may have to corner him on the show next week. You might be like, Israel, when are you going to play Star Citizen with me?
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's really up to you, but I'll just sit back and just watch.
Here, you want to do something fun right now?
What's that?
Go pull up her Twitter and just scroll down a couple of pictures. We'll have a live reaction.
Ellie's Twitter?
Yeah. Go look at it real quick.
Okay, all right. So, quick disclaimer: I've been on there, and I tell you what, like I was like, "Whoa, this stuff is spicy." And I think I told her on the podcast last night. I was like, the first thing I see, like when I was like, oh, cool, like that's really cool. We have a girl that's gonna hop on. She's gonna be great, and the first thing I see is boom, butt cheeks, But she took that like a champ, and I think that's just kind of the, it is what it is. I think it's, hey, all the respect in the world. I'm not going to be like, okay, all right, this is something I've seen before, but it's also like, I don't know.
She's right there in front of you.
Yeah, but nothing surprises me anymore, But I thought she was great to have on. I mean, I'm not gonna.
No, she's good. Apparently, she's a good person. She has layers like an ogre. But
just don't call her an ogre to her face.
Well, I don't know. There was still a pretty ogre in that story, Princess Fiona. I'm just saying.
But I mean, ladies don't like it when you call them an ogre.
It depends on the context, right?
Like ogres have onions, right?
Exactly.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, we have now successfully compared a OF person to a ogre.
Not just any ogre though, Princess Fiona.
Yeah. Princess Fiona ogre.
Yeah. But I don't know. I wouldn't even go that far. I'd just be like, we met the person behind the spicy videos, the spicy photos, and we find out that she's a cool person. I mean, I would, if I was going to Skankfest and I saw her there, I would totally say hello. And I would be like, Ellie, it's great to see you. And then, hey, how's life been? How's the business going? And then ask about, hey, how's her kids doing? Because she revealed that she has kids. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, how's your kids doing? They doing really good. How's little Johnny doing? Or how's little Susie doing? And then you get, then they're like, oh, well, okay, he cares about me as a person. And I mean, like, that's what I would do. Like, you get Dalton and I probably in the same room, and we're chit chatting, and I'd probably be like, man, how's life been? Like, you've seen any good movies or good shows as of late, and get going on that, and just, listen to him.
Any good movies lately?
Have I seen any good movies lately?
No. As if you're talking to her, I said, made any good movies lately?
Oh, yeah. Well, she'd probably say yes.
Here's the one thing you probably didn't see is that she's been to expos. I don't know if you got down that far in her feed. She goes to those expos where she's decked out in her clothing. And, so appearing there as can't use the word representative. I guess you could fairly say that she's showing up as a porn star. Why not? That's exactly what that expo is.
Okay.
So, it depends on the context. You go onto the who is that? Regis, with that talk show, Regis and all that. Well, you go on as a conservative person. Okay, well, we're gonna
Regis Philbin?
Yeah, why not? Conservative is my point. So she shows up there. She's in a nice dress. She's talking, whatever. She goes to an expo. She's not this conservative person. She's this outgoing, fun, sex-loving porn star. So she comes on our podcast. Man, flip a coin, because I don't know which way that would go.
I think it would go great. I think it would be a great show. Anywho, thank you, Sweeze. He tells us great job last night on Cornfed. Well, thank you, Sweeze. Thank you for popping in, man. Even though I kind of threw out the joke that it's like the one-time co-host of the Unfiltered podcast. But to clarify that, I would probably say, Tanner, you take your time. You come back whenever you like. You just have to just not message at 3 a.m. You can message me at 3 a.m. That's fine. But because I would probably just, I'd probably look at it and I'd be like, all right, it's Sweeze. And then I'd roll over, go back to sleep, get back to you in the morning. But yeah, I thought overall it was really fun. I know I feel like I'm circling back when I felt like we said enough about it.
What is your name?
Are you going off Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
What is your favorite color? What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Sweeze is like, I won't message Ed ever, promise. Okay, all right.
Good job. You message him, he'll message me.
Yeah.
That keeps you out of trouble.
You can go through me as the middleman. That's fine. Give me a piece of shrubbery. And then what was it? The person tried switching up the rules. Oh yeah, the coconuts. Yeah,
Coconuts.
I love the ending of the film, by the way, where they're about to invade the French castle on the lake. Yeah. And then they ran out of budget, so they just had the police pull up and take them all away.
Yeah.
Which was the best. Oh, that was so
you
good.
do this. You clap. And this hand on top, you clap, and this hand on top goes and slaps a leg, then the other hand. No, okay. Both hands. Look, this hand, down, down, then down, down.
Oh, okay.
And you do it faster and faster, and you get this.
Okay, alrighty. I won't do that on stream, but I'm already in an awkward position as it is. But no.
I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just.
I want to know what you're doing over there.
I'm just sitting here.
Awkward position. That could be it.
Yeah. Although I think one of the funniest parts of the night was like just Doug being Doug. Man, I loved Doug was so down bad for Ellie, but I loved it. It was so funny. Um and then Dave popped on and we were seeing videos. I mean, a little spicy for YouTube, but I loved it. It was funny. but but Doug like called me attractive, and I was like, oh well, thanks, Doug. I appreciate that. And he's like, I mean, I'll leave the language for the Cornfed podcast, but I was like, oh, okay, all right, thanks, Doug. I appreciate that. Even though I consider myself a hard 4 and a good day, but
he said he'd do you, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, then I guess you're more than a 4, or his standards are really low. One of the two.
I think. I mean, I think he just, he had a few drinks in him and he was feeling great. So why not? Why not let him enjoy the show?
I have to try that.
Yeah.
What do you drink?
What do I drink? Water.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm on stream, I drink water. I try to stay hydrated.
I know you're smarter than that.
Smarter than that. I'm trying to like stay away from alcohol so I don't do dumb stuff.
Exactly.
Although, like, when I used to stream, I would do drunk streams. Like, I would just drink. Like, I remember doing a New Year's Eve stream, and I would just drink like the champagne. And because like the grocery store in Lake City, I mean, they had a really nice little. Like a liquor section, and they had cheap beer, and their stuff was affordable, and I was like, all right, drunk stream, let's go. So,
right.
And then let me read Rick real fast. Monty Python is more than just a litmus test for cerebral comedy. If someone doesn't get Python, I question not only their comedic taste, but their character as a human. Ain't that the truth? I love Monty
Rick.
Python.
Yes.
Monty Python is just so entertaining. Like Monty Python's Flying Circus. And then The Life of Brian. I've seen bits and pieces of Life of Brian, but I need to see it.
Right.
Yeah, I need to see Life of Brian. But everybody remembers Monty Python and Holy Grail. Can't beat it.
Little evil
It's
white
just a
rabbit
flash
with
wound.
sharp, pointy teeth.
Or the Killer Rabbits.
Killer rabbits.
Yeah, or the Killer Rabbit. It was just a killer rabbit.
Yeah, I think it was one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be like a cute little rabbit, but apparently I can fuck you up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Put you in 20,000 leagues of fucked up.
Yeah. Took out a lot of kings, apparently.
Okay. I see. Whew. Man,
African or European?
Huh?
African or European?
Oh.
I'm a king. You got to know these things.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm a kind of a mutt. My mom's side came from both Ireland and Scotland. And then
that's the punchline to the what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? And he asks, African or European?
Oh, see, like I was giving you a straight answer.
I know you lost the plot.
Yeah,
it's okay.
That's okay. I was trying to be comedic by being the straight man. Like how most comedic duos, there's like the eccentric, and then there's the straight man. Probably the most famous example would be Abbott and Costello.
Right.
Abbott and Costello, like the whole who's on first and what's on second, Yeah, that's such a great bit. But I'm also a guy that likes George Carlin too.
You want to read off that list of dirty words he has?
Oh, the 7 naughty words. I bet you, like, I think they can
No,
say
there's
about.
more than 7.
Well, like, I think if I remember correctly. Oh, Stephen Wright. Okay, Stephen Wright. That's what Rick's pointing out. Stephen Wright.
Right. You're right. He did start off with 7, and I'm seeing what they are here. But on one of the recordings I have way from back when, which I don't have anymore,
I think you can say most on
he
TV these days. Yeah, most of which are
he
now said now in prime time. I was like, yeah. I remember
he
now
had a
people say
real.
shit and damn, and I mean, as long as you don't say the F word, you're fine.
Where is it? I don't even know if anybody
Now
ever
on
wrote it
stream,
down.
man, you can say about anything.
Is this it? No, that's 2,000 things on eBay. There was just he did this really long list, and it went on for about 4 or 5 minutes, and it was just going from one topic to another within the cussing and innuendos and words like that, and it just seemed to get worse as it kept going. So it was pretty entertaining. Let's see.
Hold on, George Carlin. 7.
Can you
7
expand
dirty
words?
Okay. 7 dirty words extension. Oh yeah. See, like now you could say like you could say shit and piss, but you still can't say like the F word. You can't say the C word. You can't. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So you can get away with the F word after 10 p.m. on network TV currently. That's crazy.
Interesting.
Man, that blows my mind. Blowing my mind, man. That's blowing my mind. Blowing my mind, man. Blowing my mind. But yeah, I wouldn't even say half these words. Unless I was like really mad or something, a phallic sucker, a mother effer, and tits. But you could say tits.
I like that. Phallic sucker.
Phallic sucker.
You mother phallicer.
Yeah, you mother lover.
Mother humper. Yeah.
Mother humper. Yeah. Mother humper.
Good.
Yeah.
God.
Good golly gracious. Yeah. It's crazy what you can say on TV these days.
Got dandruff. Some of it itches.
As long as it's not flagrant. I gotcha. So it has to have. So there has to have some context to it.
So you can't just cuss during those.
times. You just can't say fuck, fuckity, fuck this, fuck that, fuck your mom, fuck your dad.
Fuckity fuck. Why not? Cartman did. He went fuckity fuck.
Yeah.
And that was before they got to CBS.
That was.
It was on TV.
It was on Comedy Central.
Actually, I think that one was the movie, Bigger, Longer, Uncut.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was.
It was the movie. That's why.
It was on the movie.
Yeah.
And Rick would know.
But they also aired it on TV, so I don't think they went beep with that one. Or maybe, depending on the network, they did. I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know either.
Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, yeah, just imagine, like, if it's edited and it has all the bleeps, just bleep, 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 bleep.
Kind of like what it sounded like when he went to go cuss with the V chip in him, and he's sitting there going, God damn it.
Yeah. Every time he curses, he gets electrocuted. And then he, like, starts cursing so much, he becomes Super Saiyan, like... Yes. Yeah, that was
I want this V chip out of me. It has stunted my vocabulary. And I just want my mom to stop fighting everyone.
Okay, so Rick says that South Park is still bleeped on Comedy Central, but it's not on streaming. Okay. This is why if we talk South Park, we always have to involve Rick. We always have to. And I think it's great.
Yeah. Think about that. For Wendy, I'll be an activist too. That's what Brian Boitano would do.
Okay.
Yeah. Good song.
Yeah. Yeah. They can come up with good stuff. Anywho, I am...
Well, don't do it, Cartman.
Well!
I'm warning you.
Cause
I'm
I'm
really
the
good.
biggest bitch in the whole wide world. The biggest super king Kamehameha bitch.
Except
Have the
like
kids around the
nowadays,
world
like
that might sound something a little bit like this.
I've been so corrupted by the Cyrax lore. So instead of saying
Yeah.
bitch, I say vitch. Because that's what
Bitch.
Cyrax says. Like Cyrax is
Bitch.
like vitch. Like with a V. You're a vitch. Vitch. Like so I remember I was working one time and I let it slip. I was like, oh man, you're bitch, you know. And somebody caught it that shouldn't have caught it. And he was like, did you just say bitch? And I was like, no, I said vitch. You know, so I was like, that's one good thing. Because Cyrax can't talk right. So like, because he has he has a weird face structure. So when he says bitch, it comes out as vitch. You know, at bitch. You know, and I love saying it with some I love saying it with like a little bit of oomph to it. It's like vitch, you little bitch, you're a bitch, you bitch. You know, and then people are like, you're just telling people they're bitches, and I'm like, no, they're bitches.
Yeah.
Bitch.
You son of a Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Bitch, Mitch.
Well, then
Mitch,
it's also
Mitch.
Instead of calling people like a stupid piece of shit, you could call them a stupid piece of bitch.
Bitch.
Yeah,
right?
Stupid piece of bitch. Oh man, you stupid piece of bitch. Like when I was in wrestling, you know, I knew like and we need to bring him on the show is Duke Cornell. And Duke Cornell's got stories. We need to bring up Tim Rhodes because Tim Rhodes, he's kind of special, but he wrestles. And I remember his t-shirt design and he describes it like this. And Tim's like, oh man, we're just gonna put him out here, put him out in there, you know, road mill in the sun in the sky, hey, Tim Rhodes. And then there would be other times where like he would get a new vehicle and they'd be like, oh hey Tim, that's a really nice car. How'd you get it? And he would be like, cash. And like it's like, well, that okay, that's great how you paid for it, Tim, but how'd you go about and getting it? Where'd you get it? Cash. You know, and so like it's like he didn't have a good enough answer, so he stuck to his guns.
Maybe he pimped himself out, and that's how he got it.
I guess so. Yeah, maybe like perked himself out or whatever. But no, Tim was just not all there. You know, and I remember there was I think there was a match between Tim Rhodes and Zach Gowen, and Zach Gowen's the guy with. He's the guy that wrestles without legs, like he has like two mechanical legs or prosthetics. There we go. And Tim Rhodes pops off one of the prosthetics during the match, and he's like, "Oh man, I got your leg. Oh, I got your other leg." You know, like Tim was just that way. And like you get Tim pissed off, and he'd be like, "Oh man, you stupid piece of bitch." And like I spread that over, and now like whenever certain people see me, they're like, "Oh man, you stupid piece of bitch," and I'm like, "Oh man, you stupid piece of bitch." Like now because it's gotten so corrupted, I have to move on to stupid piece of bitch. Oh man, you stupid piece of bitch. You know,
no cap.
No cap. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but.
Yeah. Let's not get into that.
Yeah,
all the new age language and crap.
Although, like, okay, so I was working another day. It was before the break and everything, and there was like a kid that I swear he wasn't all there, and he got mad because I slipped and I said, "Oh, well, hey, doesn't those screenshots look like they're from Deltarune?" He was like, "Nah, man, they're from Undertale. Get it right." And he got legit mad at me for like, and I was like, "It's the same aesthetics. Maybe it might be different game mechanics, but it's the same aesthetics." And then like for the second half of the class, like the latter part of the, you know where I was at, he was like, "Duh, 6'7", dude, 6'7", and I was like, oh my god. Luckily, because of Rick describing 6'7" and the South Park episode, I was like, yeah, I know what 6'7" means. And the kids are like, what? Like, you know what 6'7" means? And I'm like, yeah, like, because I saw the South Park episode. And then I was covering a game. I was covering a Buyer District round game between, I'll tell this story before we go, between Groover and Lockney. And Groover was just beating the pants off of Lockney. I mean, they were just running him out of the building. And it gets to the point where it's 67-0. And like all these little kids, they're all up in the stands doing this, 6'7", 6'7". And I was even laughing about it too. I was like, 6'7". And one of the Lockney players looks back at the scoreboard and he just does this. Just does the motion of 6'7", which I was like, that made my night. So,
the last time I saw somebody do this, they were juggling a pair of breasts in their hands. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, we're getting to the 2-hour mark, so I think we're gonna call her a show. To those who popped on, thanks for coming on, Rick, Sweeze. We appreciate you guys. The next show is going to have our guy Israel. He is known on Twitch as TC Warrior ETP. So we should probably, we'll hype him up going into next week's show. Because I have the thumbnail made and everything, and he approved it. He thought he was great. The 14th, we'll get Kale. And then we have a special Christmas edition coming up on the 21st. Yeah.
Is it going to be Dave in a Christmas hat?
I don't know. Do we need to wear Christmas hats?
No, I'm thinking about Dave last night on the stream. He had his big ass beard and he had the Christmas hat. I'm trying to say, is he going to be in a Christmas hat? Is it going to be him?
It could be. I mean, it could be.
I'll laugh if I called it.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, everybody. Even I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. I know Dave's good with any time. We just got to give him a heads up, and he'll pop on and he'll visit with us. And then let's see. And then I think CJ Holiday is on tap. He'll be. I think he'll be for more so sooner than later. And then we need to look at bringing in some more people. I'd love to get Dalton on. I know they're doing Crowder Boys today because they didn't do it over Thanksgiving. But I think Crowder Boys, that should be a really fun show. I think they're up on YouTube, so go check them out after you're done with us. And then let's see. I don't know if we want to take a little break, like, in between Christmas and New Year's. We'll see. But yeah, I think we'll get some really cool guests coming up. I know if I ask Ellie to come on, Ed he may have to have some supervision. And we might have to bring.
I'll be okay. I'm actually worried about you.
Worried about me? Nah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty chill.
I can handle being in the environment of somebody who's like that and what they do, and go with the punches. You though, you'll sit there and turn shit purple, and I'll be sitting there going, "Are you breathing? Are you okay?"
I'll be fine. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, we'll get some really cool guests coming up. But yeah, it's been I feel like, yeah, we've had a good recovery episode, but I am totally going to take a nap after this. I am tired. I feel like I woke up at like 8 this morning, fed the dogs. And then after that I went right back to bed. And I was out, and I think I woke up at about 11, and then I was like, okay, all right, I need to get up and make myself like, I need to be ready for the show. Let's see if I can be productive. I might just have to go run to Ziggy's right next door. So who knows?
Right.
Yeah. I hear Ziggy's probably calling my name, but anywho, thank you all for tuning in. I know we had some interruptions on a little bit of the stream, but Ed's gonna finish up his coffee. I'm probably gonna go get me a drink, a non-alcoholic drink. It is the season where we're getting eggnog, so I am tickled to death about eggnog. Non-alcoholic eggnog, of course. Anderson Erickson, I will say Anderson Erickson eggnog is great. But yeah, I think we're good. Ed, do you have anything else to add?
And make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video because we keep forgetting this. He keeps forgetting to say at the beginning, so I'll make sure to say at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love, and by all means, when we have the live shows, pop in and give us a shout. We love to read your chats. I mean, we're not at the point where we have super chats yet, but I think that's a-okay. I mean, and
we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there, and until then, it's fun until we make money, and then it becomes a business. So, all right. Until next time. I'm Tyler Anderson. The internet knows me as Tyler Liger. And I'm here.
And I'm Ed Packineau.
Yes. This has been Unfiltered, episode 17. We will see you guys again very, very soon.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.